In this video, we're going to be taking a look at long division. Long division is a standard procedure used for dividing numbers. Now here we have a single-digit divisor and a complex multi-digit dividend. I want you to pause the video now and try this example on your own. So remember here we have a single-digit divisor and we have a complex multi-digit dividend. Now the first step in long division is to figure out how many times the number 4, your divisor, can evenly go in to the first number of your dividend, which is 5. So 4 can evenly go into 5 only once. So we put a 1 right up above the 5, and our next step is just to take 4 multiplied by 1 and put it right underneath the first number in your dividend. So 4 times 1 gives us 4, and what we do then is subtract the two numbers 5 and 4. So 5 minus 4 gives us 1, and our next step is to bring down the next number in the dividend. Well, the next number in the dividend is the 8, so the 8 is going to be brought down next to the 1. Now you can either put an arrow there, or some instructors like you to put an X there, telling the reader that you're bringing the 8 down, or letting yourself know that you're bringing the 8 down. Now 4 can go into 18 4 times evenly, so we're going to put a 4 up above the 8 in the dividend. We repeat this process until we run out of numbers. So 4 times 4 gives us 16. We put the 16 down below the 18, and we're repeating the process, so we subtract these two numbers. 18 minus 16 gives us 2. Since we're repeating the process, we're going to bring down the next number in the dividend, which is the 1. Now I'm putting an X underneath the 1 just to let myself know that I'm bringing it down. So 4 can go into 21 5 times evenly. We bring the 5 up above the 1 in the dividend. 5 times 4 gives us 20. We subtract these two numbers. 21 minus 20 gives us 1, and we keep repeating this process, so we're now going to bring the 7 in the dividend down. 4 can go into 17 evenly 4 times. Now 4 times 4 again gives us 16. We subtract these two numbers and we get 1. Now you'll notice that there's no more numbers in the dividend to bring down. So there's a couple ways that you can write this answer. We can either write this answer as, my answer is therefore 1,454 with a remainder 1. So here, this number is called your remainder, and here, this number right here is your answer, but it's also called your quotient. Now when you're left with a remainder here, all this means is that you can actually obtain decimal digits. So you can get an even more approximate number than just 1,454. You can now obtain decimal numbers, if you like, by continuing the process. So how do we continue this process if we don't have any more numbers in the dividend to bring down? Well, the trick here is to actually bring down a 0. So I'm going to erase this remainder, I'm going to erase this quotient, and we're going to continue the procedure. So we've ran out of numbers in the dividend. So what we do is we write a decimal up above the last number because there's no more numbers here past the 7. However, we could keep putting zeros past the 7 as many times as we like. Now the next number that you would have brought down here is a 0. So we bring the 0 down and figure out how many times 4, the divisor, can go into 10 evenly. 4 can go into 10 evenly twice, so we're going to put a 2 above that first 0. 4 times 2 gives us 8. And we put the 8 down below the 10. We subtract these two numbers, which gives us 2, and we can bring the next 0 down in the dividend. And again, you can repeat this process as many times as you like to obtain as many decimal places as you like, or you can repeat the process up until there is 0 remainder left over, which means you can keep adding zeros up here in the dividend as many times as you like until you get 0 remainder. Then you wouldn't have any more decimals. So our next step here is to figure out how many times 4 can now go into 20 evenly. Well, 4 can go into 20 evenly 5 times. 5 times 4 gives us 20. And 20 minus 20 gives us a 0 remainder, which means our final exact quotient is 1,454.25. So that there is the quotient. And like I said, depending on your instructor, they may be happy with an answer of 1,454 remainder 1, or they may want an exact answer of 1,454.25.